Hello and welcome to Film Companion South. It's the end of the year. It's time for the annual report card for Tamil cinema, but then most of the films didn't even sit for the examination. So, what do? Let's just look at what the major heroes and heroines did first. It was a fairly underwhelming year for all of them, except for Surya, probably. When you look at the big heroines, Nayanthara had Mookuthi Amman, Jyotika had Ponmagal Vandal, Kirti Suresh had Penguin. All of them were underwhelming. When you look at the big heroes, Rajnikant's Darbar, Dhanush's Pattas, Arun Vijay's Mafia, all of them were underwhelming as well, to various extents. The one standout where a big hero delivered with a big movie was Surya Poetry, directed by Sudha Kongra. I found the film more solid than spectacular, but Surya was in excellent form and Aparna Balamurali was a great addition to the list of Tamil heroines. Otherwise, it was left to some of the smaller films to serve up some semblance of quality. Kandum Kandum Kolayadittal with Dulquer Salmaan and Ritu Varma was a pleasant diversion. Oh My Kadavule with Ritika Singh and Ashok Selvan was a half-brilliant rom-com, though I did not like the first half at all. Lock Up with Venkat Prabhu, Ishwari Rao and Vaibhav was a not bad at all investigative murder mystery kind of story. Then we had Andagaram, which didn't work for me as a whole, but scene for scene it was so spectacularly made, so superbly directed that it's really hard to dismiss the film. Kaval Thorai Ungal Nanban was a chilling psychological and genuinely unpredictable drama about a man standing up against the system. And on the slightly artier side, we had Priya Krishnaswamy's Baram about euthanasia, about a form of euthanasia. It was very quiet, it was very powerful, and we also had Anand Ravichandran Settu Mayurumpon about an estranged family, basically a grandmother and granddaughter, and a bunch of village customs which were explored very beautifully, very gently, and with great sensitivity. And now on to my favorite 5 films of the year, which will be no surprise to those of you who've been following me because I like films that hit big and whether they succeed or not in their entirety have at least 10 sequences that make you go, wow. The first of those is, of course, Michigan's Psycho. Like the title suggests, this film is dedicated to Alfred Hitchcock's blockbuster, and the homage extends to a deeper level as to the relationship between a mother and a very dysfunctional son. This dysfunction results in the son becoming a serial killer, and instead of showing this man as some kind of depraved human being, Michigan treats him with utmost sympathy. So this is actually about the redemption of a brutally damaged man, and there are sequences after sequences to die for, especially the one set in a cave towards the end. It's part gladiatorial spectacle, part religious experience, and all Michigan. My second choice is Krishna Marimuthu's Dharala Prabhu, which was a very pleasant surprise because the original Vicky Donor is a very well regarded film. It was a hit, but you also think that this is the kind of film that will not make it to Tamil because it has a sperm donor concept and it's very difficult to translate that, and they'll have to dilute it the way they diluted Delhi Belly where they made it in Tamil. But the director explores this premise with a fresh pair of eyes and a very fresh sensibility. This Harish Kalyan starrer is both an homage to the original and a very radical reworking of it. To take someone else's property and still make it your own shows that you're holding on to what makes you a filmmaker. This is the rare remake with soul. And then we come to Karthik Dials at the end, which is 99% hate and 1% love. I think for most people, I don't know, I love the film because it is basically a film that gathers together a memory from 10 years ago and pushes it in a very important direction. When I say important, I mean, I hope that this sets the tone for a lot of filmmakers to take their older films and explore little what if scenarios in 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Our attention spans are shrinking, right? We are going to be watching films with lesser and lesser running time. So, why not just instead of watching, it's almost like a short film, somebody takes, I hope this means that Selva will be able to take Ayrathul Oruvan and take one bit of it and say, okay, let me explore this part of it as a what if. I think that's what really worked for me in this film because the what if is what if the Simbu character calls the Jesse character and then says, okay, I'm stuck with the screenplay, what do I do now? And she kind of liberates him and makes him write again. I really like this film a lot because it brought back memories of one of my favorite romances of Tamil cinema of all time, actually, Vinay Thandi Varvaya, and it also took it in a new direction. As for dramas, I really liked Kape Ranasingam, even though it was a 3-hour running time, because there was such honesty, such integrity in the drama, and it was so moving to watch Aishwarya as the protagonist, even though it's named Ranasingam, it's Kanavar Ranasingam, so basically it's about her. And Vijay Sethupathi has a lovely little role, not little exactly, but he's not the central piece of it, but he does so well in this zone that it's really up to him that We remember his character long after he's gone. At the center of this 3 hour drama, and it really earns his indulgence, is the almost dharmic question, what is our responsibility to our fellow human being? And instead of wasting time on songs and lighter scenes, it quickly submerges us into a quicksand of systemic rot. We feel every step of the protagonist's incredibly difficult journey, and the final scene is a true heartbreaker. And finally, I come to Pava Kathegal. The year of COVID was also the year of the anthology. Everybody seemed to be in a rush to rope in big name directors and make anthology films. Pava Kathegal was easily the best of the lot, with films by Sudha Kongra, Vetrimaran, Gautam Menon, and Vignesh Shivan, who was very, very surprisingly Vignesh Shivan after a very long time. What I meant was, we kind of missed him in Tana Sendakutam, which was kind of okay, but it didn't have that Vignesh Shivan stamp. And finally, that stamp was visible again here with a pitch black, absurdist comedy take on honor killing, which is really, really difficult to pull off. And Vetrimaran had some of his finest directorial moments in his whole career in this, because usually his films tend to cut a lot because they sprawl a lot. Here, because he was focused, you could really make out the scene choreography and the wonderful way he just used the camera and showed the house and the people in it, and the long suffering that not just the protagonist goes through but also the audience. The one thing linking the various films is the concept of manam or honor, and all the directors came at it from different ways. Sudha Kongra came at this concept through a trans person, and Gautam Menon came at this concept through a very traditional, very rigid-minded housewife. One thing about this anthology is that it showed how liberating it can be for a director when he or she does not have to mind what the B center will say, what the C center will say, and cast whoever they want, irrespective of star power. And this film had some of the best performances of the year, especially Simran, Sai Pallavi, Prakash Raj, and Kalidas Jairam. So that's my list of the big five. Do mention what your favorites are in the comments column. Happy 2021 to all of you. Let's hope the new year brings in a lot more interesting films. Until then, take care, stay safe, and keep watching Film Company South.